As usual, reminding again that we need to focus more on exam content outline now rather than focusing on PMBOK, any version of PMBOK 6, 7, whatever. Yeah, we should focus on ECO more. And in the exam content outline, we have a 14 tasks related to people domain. And today we are focusing on task number 4, empower team members and stakeholders. These people domain tasks are pretty much interrelated. It's all about creating the right environment, facilitating leadership, developing people. So overall, all those 14 tasks, in my view, help you in empowering team members and stakeholders. So it is not limited to these 4 sub items. But since we have been discussing other tasks and subtasks, they call it enabler in the respective videos. So I today focus on the 4 subtasks which are explained as a part of empowering team members and stakeholders. So that is something we are focusing on. But as you know, this is something which is throughout the people domain there. And as usual, if I refer you back to the principles, as we discussed sometime before as well, most of these principles which are falling under people domain will keep talking about creating a collaborative project team environment. So yes, in order to empower team and stakeholder, I need to create a collaborative environment. I need to be respectful, caring steward. So I need to focus on servant leadership. I need to care for people, team member, organization resources. I need to demonstrate leadership behavior, and leadership is all about growing others. Leadership is all about influencing others. So, this task also includes that. And I need to keep engaging with these stakeholders. Maybe engagement is not directly linked to this particular task, at least. But yeah, these 3 principles are pretty much linked with our task, which is in focus today. So, let's get into a little bit detail. So organize around team strength. That's a first subtask around it. Then we will talk about we are using different sequence than the enabler. We will explore determine best of levels of decision making authority, and then we will explore supporting team task accountability and evaluate demonstration of task accountability. So all the 4 subtasks we will explore one by one. So let's start with first one: organize around team strengths. So the idea here is this particular quote tells us that we should create an environment where we can maximize the strength of the team, strength of individual, strength of their collective together, rather than fixing our predefined format, predefined roles and responsibility, and making them do things which are not as per their strength. So in order to achieve that, the goal of a project manager is I need to make best use of my team strength. I need to make a best use of their capability. I need to ensure that they collaborate with each other so that they support each other so that as a team they win. That's the idea. Now, how do I do that? So I can say in order to organize around team strength, I need to first identify the strength. So you can say that yes, we need to do some kind of activities as a project manager so that people can identify each other's strength. I can facilitate some team building activities so that people have a good introduction in the beginning of the project or whenever the new people are coming in. We can do a formal or informal assessment. There could be a formal assessment where you may take them to some kind of psychometric test, some kind of personality assessment in the agreement with them. That's also a part of people domain. So we understand the emotional capability of each and everyone and the decision making process and the personality. So that can help us in identifying who is good in which area so that we can organize the work accordingly. So that's a possibility. It could be done informally also by way of making people talk to each other, by way of making people share their experience and the thing which they have done in the past. So that is also help us in understanding and creating each other's strength awareness. We need to focus on diversity so that identifying strength, we want to have diversified strength coming forward. As a project manager, I need to give people enough time so that they develop trust, they develop understanding of each other. I may end up facilitating SWOT kind of analysis where people talk about strength, weakness, opportunity, threats. Many times you may hear that team members may not want to talk about their weaknesses. So yeah, it depends. Yeah, so it could be a possible tool, but in general, I need to facilitate conversation in the beginning of the project, especially so that we identify the strengths of our teams, and based on that we decide roles definition and roles and responsibility. So I identify the strength and we remain flexible in roles and definition rather than I just prescribe them that, okay, you are here and you need to do this. So we may have some organization recommendation related to roles and responsibility in the way we should work, but based on our team strength, we should be flexible. And that's the idea of a project manager. I need to look at my team strength more rather than just following something which is prescribed by my organization. So that's a flexibility in role definition. So we may have a overlapping roles where you may tell that, yeah, there are more than one person can fit into a one particular type of role. We may promote T-shaped professional where we allow people to develop in multiple skills. They may make best use of their core skills. They may develop some secondary skills which can also become as an asset whenever we have a situation where which requires little more focus in that area. Roles can change over a period of time, so we are flexible in role definition because my idea is organized around team strength. Some people may acquire some strengths. We may need to give them opportunity to apply those strengths in our work and take a maximum benefit for the project. And I need to avoid single point of failure, which means I should not have a situation where one person can only do a one type of work that can create a problem for my whole team. Because my goal is that I take care of the whole team together. Now, these things are not one time job. I hope that by now you already understand that in the project management, it's a continuous process. So, continuous learning and development, continuously developing people by way of training, mentoring, coaching. So, whenever developing comes, we can look at various options of training, mentoring, and coaching. We need to provide continuous feedback sessions, feedback with the help of retrospective, one on one feedback, and then improving their roles, improving their capability by way of developing them. So the idea of organizing around team strength in a general manner is we need to figure it out who does what. We need to have a clarity about roles and responsibility. But those clarity and those roles and responsibility should not be very, very stringent. Yeah, we are flexible because we are here to achieve best out of our people. That is the meaning of this particular enabler. Now, as a demonstration of these things, identification of strengths, roles, and responsibility and all, we might end up using RACI metrics, which can help us in identifying who is responsible, accountable, should be consulted and informed. You might already know. In a predictive life cycle, you may use a resource management plan, which clearly tells the roles and responsibility and details about it, may have an organization structure of the project as well. In the You may have a general roles and responsibility document which could be a part of your resource management plan in case of predictive way of working. In case of predictive or adaptive way of working, we may have a team charter where team collaborate together and they could create an understanding of who is expected to do what, how are we going to operate as a one team. That can be also put into the team charter. So identify the strength, be flexible about it, continuously keep looking at it, because we need to organize ourselves so that we make best use of our strength. That's the first part of this enabler, which is saying empowering team members and stakeholders. So that's the first part. The second part, determine the best of levels of decision making authority. Sometimes also get confused in the understanding perspective. So say we do want to create self-organizing team. That's the whole idea. But we need to understand that there are decisions which may need to be made at a different level. There are decisions which are made by a team member. So if I am working on a particular area, if I want to change little bit of style, I should be able to make some decisions without even talking to anyone. I should be empowered as an individual. But there are some decisions which I cannot take myself. I need to consult with my team. Yeah, so we need to understand which decision I can take, which team I need to consult with my team. Maybe there could be some decisions which I need to consult with project manager. Maybe some decisions project manager has to consult, and the whole team has to consult with the governance group. There could be some decisions if you are working against the contract which may go even to the client level. You may not be able to change some technology or something till the time your contract supports that. So the idea here is we want to empower team, we want to empower stakeholder in order to ensure right understanding and managing expectation with each other. And in order to do that, as a part of our agreement, working agreement may be documented in a team charter or maybe put into RACI matrix or roles and responsibility or in a contract or maybe in a communication management plan or a governance plan. We need to have a clarity what our decisions can be taken at a team level or a team member level. I wish maximum decisions can be taken at this level. That is my goal as a project manager, because it makes things faster, especially the decisions which are related to the implementation approach, how oriented decisions are taken at a team level. Team may not be able to decide what is the right requirement, what is the right priority of the requirement. They need to work with stakeholder or someone else. There are other type of groups, but team should be able to decide, should we do this work this time and the another work tomorrow? Who is the best person inside this particular team to do this particular job? So we need to have an understanding what are the levels of decision making, and that's the idea which is recommended to a project manager. So as a project manager, when you are facilitating team charter creation, when you are facilitating the understanding of who does what, you need to also clarify the levels of decision making. You may need to identify some of the escalation triggers also, where we need to, the team need to come to you or come to at another level. Now there is no recommendation from PMP exam perspective. We need to see the question, and we need to see that yes, there is an empowerment, but there will be some constraint which will make us go at another level. So we empower by clarifying the boundaries, by clarifying the decision making levels or authorities, and that's the second enabler of it. So by way of organizing people on strength, by making them clear about where they can take decisions on their own, where they need to consult someone else, I am creating an environment for empowerment. Yeah, so that's the first two subtasks. The final two subtasks of this particular task is support team task accountability and evaluate demonstration of task accountability. So let's understand these two things. So the idea here is we help the team to figure out who does what. They can identify the strength and organize themselves. They know what kind of decisions they are able to make, what kind of decision they need to go to someone else. After that, the team should have a clear sense of accountability at a team level and as well as at individual level, because things need to get done, and there has to be clear sense of clarity that yes, this is what we need to get it done. So as a project manager, I need to ensure that there is a clear understanding of accountability. So how do I ensure that? I ensure that people are clear about the goal, where we are heading towards. If we have a clear understanding of the project values, shared understanding, the goal, the why part is clear. The people have a clarity about role. Now, it is not necessary that you created this clarity. It might be that you supported that clarity when people were organizing around strength, but now they understand who is expected to do what. There could be overlap of roles, but there is a clarity where are the overlaps as well. And when we are doing planning, when we are doing things, there is a complete engagement of the team. So what does it mean? The team is engaged when they are doing planning. Team is engaged when they are finding out the design approaches. Team is engaged to review the work, how it is going, so that I am engaged. I am the one who has created it. I also own it. I have a more accountability about it. So that's something I need to be a project manager to support it. I need to ensure that team is involved in planning and estimation. That's the important things in order to create accountability in the team. We may have a clear understanding of performance goals. So performance goals can be there at a team level. Performance goals can be there at a team member level as well. In general, as a project manager, I give more importance to team level performance goal, and the second focus comes to an individual member performance goal. As we discussed in our previous sections, whenever we are working with a performance goal, these are collaboratively made, and we need to track them with the help of feedback. Yeah? So I need to have a understanding, I need to have a first engagement, clarity about what we are doing, common understanding of our goal, and then with the engagement we identify this is how things will get done, and then we track them, we put a performance goal against it, and if things are not working, we take a feedback on it. Yeah, we may do retrospective and reviews. And overall, if someone or a team requires an improvement, I may do a team level coaching. I may facilitate team member levels mentoring and coaching as well. So we need to ensure that people are understanding their accountability, they are engaged enough, and they are achieving the business delivery. So we need to balance the tone and urgency, because the sense of urgency for business delivery and clarity about the accountability of business delivery is also one of the objective of project managers task. So I need to create that sense of urgency and clarity about the delivery as well. Now, in order to achieve this, I also need to have, that's a subtask of it, how do we display, how do we make this thing transparent about the accountability of the task? How can I identify who is working on that task and by when it will get done, and whom can I contact if I have to talk about it? So there should be a clarity about it. So we need to use maybe probably a frequent meetings. We may use some information radiators. We may have a understanding of open communication channel, so that we demonstrate the task accountability to all the team members, and then we need to take a continuous feedback as well. Now some tools and technique. Yes, you can use team charter to clarify the task accountability. You can use retrospective meetings or a lesson learned meeting to take a feedback on task accountability and how things are happening. In order to demonstrate task accountability, you can use daily stand up. Yeah, you can use Kanban board in case of adaptive way of working. In case of predictive way of working, you may have a Gantt chart which shows who is expected to work where, and so that people can understand this is my accountability and I will be hold accountable for it. And we need to talk about it if something is going wrong, and we need to improve it so that at some point in time we start meeting our stakeholder and client expectations. So these are the four small subtasks of this particular task called empower team members and stakeholders. Yeah, I understand this is pretty much interlinked with the leadership role, and it's kind of reiteration of something which we have already discussed sometime. But I think nice way to summarize and relate to this particular topic. Yes, people domain has a good repetition, but I think that's the value. It makes the things a little easy for you to prepare for your PMP exam.